Guys, so it is day 23 of my blindfold experiment, and just hanging out today, hanging out with Lou. Say hi, Lou. Lou is my friend Brandon and Anna's dog. Been my best friend, so to speak, during this experiment, as she's hanging out with me at home most days. Yeah, kind of hang out with Lou quite a bit. Um, not too much going on today. Did my hair, or tried to do something with my hair today for the first time since I've had the blindfold on. I'm not sure if it was really successful or what. I don't know. I figure with hair this short, it's probably, can't do too much to mess it up. But I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Um, had a question from a friend today at church, or somebody I knew that I had met. And I've been getting this kind of question a lot as I meet new people while I'm doing this experiment. And that's, so why are you doing this? Is this for some kind of experiment, some kind of, you're writing a paper or something like that? And my answer is always, is pretty much the same thing. Is like, no, it's just my own curiosity, and that's part of it. But the reason I started doing this experiment was, like I just said, my own curiosity as to what it's like to live as a blind person. But another part of that is just a perspective on life. I think that in life, so many times we can lock ourselves into one way of thinking or one way of seeing things, and and we'll be locked into this, and it's hard to see anything in the world from any other angle except just the one we've gotten used to, gotten in our rut, and it's nice and it's comfortable and we're locked into it. And so we get into this habit of, whether we realize or not, being very closed-minded. And now, with that, I'm not saying that it's not good to have your ideals and your principles and your beliefs and hold to them. By all means, I think that's a great thing. But I think that it's also very valuable to, while you do that, still keep an open mind. Now, I think those things, some people, it's like, well, that sounds kind of contradictory. You're saying to hold to this, but keep an open mind. Well, maybe, but I don't really see it that way. I see it more as kind of a view, a perspective kind of thing. It's like one of the examples I use when I'm talking about this is I don't know why I came up with this example, but it kind of seems to fit with this. Is two men that can't see, two blind men, touching a Volkswagen Beetle. Okay, and one man has his hand on the hood of the car, and the other man has his hand on like the rear left tire, or something like that. And the man at the front of the car is he's got his hand on the car, and he's describing as, this is metal, and it's smooth, and it's kind of slightly curved, and it's just what he can touch right within his his arm's length. And the man in the back of the car saying, is like, no, what I'm touching here, this is rubbery and very round and kind of rough in some parts, and there's some detail, like grooves and stuff. And the thing is like, both men are right, but so often in life we'll get in this idea of like holding to what we have, and it's like, no, this is what it is, and it's like the other guy's, no, this is how it is, and this is what I'm and we'll be so locked into describing how we see it or how we feel it, that we're not willing to consider what the other person has to say. And I think that's we do ourselves such a disservice if we do things like that, because only by like listening to someone else and truly trying to get their perspective, not only will we gain greater perspective ourselves and understanding what we know and what someone else's know, but it's like, take the man in the front. If he just stops for a second, he's like, okay, I want to try to understand what you would say. I'm going to try to work my way around to you. In the process, he gets over to where the other man is and feels the tire, feels it, and it's like, oh, I see what you're saying now. The circle, the grooves, the rubber, and everything. Not only does he gain greater understanding to where he sees what the other man was saying, but in the process of moving from where he was to the other man, he gets all this other detail of the car in between, along the way. And so he's not just come to understand it from the other man's perspective, but gain greater perspective than either one of them had on their own to begin with, And then it's kind of like all from just, laying down is like, okay, maybe I don't know everything. I'm going to hold to what I do know. This part here, this is metal and smooth and kind of curved, but maybe there's more, And just having that mindset of being open-minded to maybe there's more. I know what I know, but maybe there is more. And you can find out more that way. I just think doing that in life, just kind of to understand where people are coming from, and sometimes the ideas don't necessarily connect, but the idea of trying to understand where other people are coming from and trying to find that common ground or a place of greater understanding or view things from a slightly different viewpoint, I think is really never a bad thing. It can only benefit you. And so this is just part of that for me. It's part of an experiment, I guess, to just to see what it's like and to gain greater perspective. Is like, well, what's life like for a blind person? There's some things that I might have kind of early on thought, life for a blind person in some ways had to be so difficult. You have to be so limited. And a lot of those I'm coming to believe it's like, no, that's not really so. A lot of these things are much easier than I expected, and I've only done it for, 23 days now. It's like to think, oh gosh, a blind person's so disadvantaged because they can't do this or that. I'm like, man, well, how could I have thought that before? That's just, it was coming from myself. I was coming from a point of view of ignorance, of not having experienced that before. And so just little things like that I don't know are really interesting to me, and I just think it's for me it's an important part of my life to just try to gain as much perspective as possible, and otherwise I get stuck in this rut, and that's just kind of not the way I prefer to live myself. So for any of you that were asking that kind of same question, doing this mostly just for my own curiosity and for just kind of gaining greater perspective in my life. I think that's pretty much it for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope to have more stuff for you guys soon.